The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Generations Radio, where the focus is on our seniors and their families. We are here each Saturday afternoon from 5 until 6 p.m., bringing you resourceful information with our radio team of professionals in the field of aging. Stay with us for the next 1 hour as we explore different ways to make life more exciting and meaningful for our extraordinary seniors. Right here on AM 690 The Answer. And now, here is our host and the publisher of Generations Magazine, Percy Ihara.
Good afternoon and welcome to Generations Radio. I am Percy Ihara, host here every Saturday afternoon, and we replay it Sundays. So if you missed it Saturday, don't forget you can listen to it here on AM 690 every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. And if you guys don't know by now, we do always do an interview with Mike Buck every Friday morning, 6:40, 6:45, depending on what time I get up. But anytime, he'll wake me up. Anyway, we do a little promo to talk about the show that's coming on this weekend. And so this weekend, you're very lucky. One of the newer companies that's doing workshops to educate our seniors and our family members and our baby boomers is Financial Benefits Insurance. And we have actually a father and son team, Ed Motosue and Travis Motosue. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. You can say hello now, Travis.
Hello. Hi, thank you for having us here.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. This is the first time for Travis and first time for Ed, the dad. But Ed, you're very natural. I mean, you've spent how many years at Sears now?
35 years.
See, you're a natural at talking. So we're going to get Travis going because Travis is actually Travis's company, and we got to get his experience there. But anyway, we want to always explain to our listeners out there, because I know you guys are listening, a little bit about the company and a little bit about yourself, Ed.
Okay, so my name is Ed Motosue, and I'm 67 years old. I have 3 children. I have 8 grandchildren, and I have 10 greats.
You have more greats than grandchildren. Boy, your children are working hard. Wow.
And I'm waiting for Travis.
So Ed Motosue is a father, retired. But you've been now with the company how long?
Right now, I've been in the business for 10 years.
10 years. Okay. And so Travis, give our listeners a little background so they know who you are.
Obviously, a little bit of background about me is I've been in the business for around 11, going on 12 years. Basically, I got into the insurance business. Basically, I helped take care of my grandparents. My grandparents, they're around that time, 2004, 2005. That's when all the Medicare Part D prescription drug plans came out.
Right.
That's when everyone's confused about that. And that's when...
And they're still confused.
Yes, and they're still confused about that. So that's why I'm here.
Really?
Basically, to help educate the seniors about all the options about the insurances and everything.
Well, I first of all, I got to give you a lot of credit and give you a hand, because if you're taking care of your grandparents, that's difficult as it is, but difficult even for a son, but let alone your grandparent. It was your grandparents, so I give you a lot of credit for that. So, but it's true. So, what year did the Medicare started? When they started with a Part D and everything, was it 2000?
Yes, 2005 is when the federal government brought in the Part D prescription drug plan available for all the seniors. Just because they saw that the seniors were not really taking their medication, some of them were splitting the medications in half, or just not going without it.
Right.
And so that's why they want to create a system so they can make it affordable for all the seniors to pick up their prescription drugs.
Oh, good. And so the company you guys have is called Financial Benefits Insurance, right? And
Yes.
I know your shirt says FBI there. From Big Island? No?
No. Full-blooded Ilocano.
Anyway, Financial Benefits Insurance, why don't one of you explain to our audience about the company and when you started, how long you've been doing this now? What do you guys do?
Basically, we started Financial Benefits 6 years ago in 2010. At that time, we started with 4 agents. Then we had 8, then 12, and now we have 34 agents.
Well, good for you.
So we specialize in senior products.
And when you say senior products, give us, or you or Travis, give us an idea what kind of specialty, what kind of products you're talking about. Is it mostly Medicare? The Medicare plans? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we can do the Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplement plans, long-term care plans, living benefits, and retirement planning.
Oh, good for you. So, I've been doing this for a while with my reverse mortgage business, and I work with seniors, and that's how I met you guys. But, for all these years, we've been talking about, how we can allow and have people plan to age in place. And it's really important. And when people do retirement planning, but have you guys seen the last 10 years any kind of change in how people are planning to retire or their retirement plans at all?
Well, that's the sad thing. People really don't plan when they retire. They just say, I'm out of here, and they retire. They don't know how much money they have and how much money that money will last.
But isn't that a sad situation? Because, I can second that. I've been working with seniors for 13 years, and a lot of times the reason when they come to us is that they didn't plan. You're right. They don't know how much is in reserves, savings. Someone may not even know how much monthly income they're going to get.
Yes.
And one of the questions I always, when I see a couple, I said, Mrs. Motosue, do you know what you're going to get when your husband retires? Or when he passes away? Do you hear that, right? They don't even know how much, if there's going to get any pension or anything, right?
Don't know. And they plan a little too late. Normally they plan when they're 65, 68, pretty close to 70. That's when it's...
Or 6 months before they retire.
Yeah.
So Travis, since you're the more experienced financial advisor, what can let's say a baby boomer, baby boomers are from 52 to 70 years old. What would you say to somebody? I'll say, Travis, I'm going to retire in 6 months, but I haven't really done much retirement planning. What are some of the tips you could give me? Either one of you.
Okay. Well, first thing I tell them is they have to be disciplined. Okay. They have to watch their spending. Yeah. If they're going to retire, first thing I tell them is that take a look at their home. Maybe they have to downsize. Okay. Take a look at what kind of car they're driving and how much they're paying for their car. Get out of debt. Okay.
Yeah.
Eliminate all your debt and try to save money. Okay. And I also tell them, take a look at their household. Are the kids who moved out moving back in? Okay.
So true. You've seen that I don't want to mention companies, but ASB had a commercial where you see a commercial where they knock on the door and she tells mom, says, do you remember the time you said I can always come back home? And they do.
Yes.
Not only him, the wife and the kids and the cat and the dog. And it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We love our kids. Okay. Don't get me wrong. But I think most of them that move home, okay, don't pay anything. They might just pay for the electric bill or the water bill. Okay. But
it's so true.
But
Ed.
you know what? If push comes to shove and you're taking a look at living with your kids now, okay? And most of the seniors, what they want to do is that they want to move and be away from the children and the kids when they retire, okay? They don't want to keep on staying there, okay? And it becomes a burden later on.
If not right there, but you can't blame them, right? If they get divorced or they lose a job, they have, where else can they go? Plus, they get mom to wash the clothes, mom to cook a nice dinner, make sure the house is clean. They get too spoiled at times.
Yes, I know. I have an example right here.
But you don't live with Travis, right?
No, but I know what it was like, and I could see when Travis was going to high school and was living with my parents.
Oh, I see.
Okay, my mother would say, Travis, what do you want for dinner? And then she would go out and buy the food. But the worst part about it was she used to make his bed.
Well, I'm sure, Travis, you're good at making the bed now, right?
Yes, I appreciate her for making my bed.
Well, listen, one of my brothers did live with my grandmother as well, so I get what you're saying, But so Travis, we see you're what? You're not even 40 yet, probably, right?
35.
Yeah, you're 35. You're still young. So when you work with a lot of older clients like myself, I'm older than you, I'm more than 21. I'm 21 years older than you. What would you tell somebody that I'm ready to retire? Let's say 60. Do you see many of that?
I see people around 60s ready to retire. So if that is the case, then we can talk about dealing with their life insurance and their long-term care planning issues, their goals and things like that.
But at 60 years old, they can't collect Social Security, so
they can't receive Social Security. But it's never too late to start planning. A lot of times people start planning. I have people I already have on the Medicare. Their kids calling me up. But what can they do? What can Medicare cover for their home health care? Yeah. But the home health care that they cover is not really, they don't really need them to they need them just to watch them for a few hours while they go out or while they're working in different things. Those are the things that Medicare does not cover.
Right. And it's so true. People don't realize. In fact, they did a survey. The state did a survey recently where they found that a lot of people didn't know that Medicare does not pay for long-term care. Yes. They thought Medicare paid for long-term care. Like, no. That's why we do these workshops. So I'm glad you came on. And I know you guys are doing workshops as well, right? I know we're taping this before this Saturday, but I know you have one Saturday. But Ed, you had mentioned you have another workshop in July.
Well, we have one coming up on Wednesday night.
Oh, that's right, Wednesday night.
June the 8th at Ala Moana Hotel.
And what is that, nighttime?
Yes, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Okay. So, guys, if you're listening, I would highly recommend you go there. I try to go to all the workshops and I try and see how people work and what are they selling and what kind of information. So I give you a lot of credit. You know, you guys get really good information. But what I liked about it, are you going to have your partners there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have our team out there.
Your team, right. So you guys have an attorney. And your
financial advisor.
And your attorney guy is, I met him before.
Jared McCannis.
Yeah, he's an estate planning attorney.
Yes.
And so who's the financial advisor you're going to have there?
We have Damon Morales.
That's right. Damon does a good job. And then who's the other? Were you going to have a healthcare or home care?
We have healthcare advisor, and that's going to be one of us.
Okay.
We'll have maybe a couple of our agents there too.
Yeah, that's good. What I like about, like I said, at the end of the workshop, guys, you can sit down with each individual professional there and get more information. So I give you a lot of credit. These workshops are not easy to put on, not easy to coordinate, but I've been to your workshop. They're very good. So if you want information, which I highly recommend you do to start planning for retirement. But the big topic now, Ed, that you guys cover is long-term care. Yes. What are you guys seeing in Hawaii in regards to long-term care?
Well, long-term care, a lot of people haven't planned for long-term care. In fact, 73% of the seniors in Hawaii will need long-term care. If
not higher, yeah, 73%.
Yes.
And so, we talk about that all the time. When you say 73% needs some form of long-term care, can you give our audience a wake-up call on the cost? Do you have the cost there?
Well, for long-term care, if you're going to use a CNA, it roughly costs $57,000 a year.
Which is a certified nurse's aide?
Yes. And if you're going to be in a private room, it's going to be $127,000 a year. Semi-private will be about $124,000 a year. Okay, and we have this projected 10 years, 20 years from now, and it's staggering.
With the inflation factor.
Yes.
Right? So let's say I'm 56, so I kind of guesstimated, hopefully I stay healthy, hope I don't get hurt, have a stroke or have a fall. Let's say in 20 years, what would that, do you have an idea?
The $127,000 would go up to $189,000 a year.
Wow.
And even for the CNA, from 57, it will go up to $69,000 a year. So it's staggering because a lot of people don't put and consider long-term care as part of their retirement plan.
Right, right. Well, I've mentioned this before, and so I'm glad you guys are discussing this because it's so important. Most financial advisors, a lot of financial advisors, what they do is they plan, help you save money, help you, invest the money to reach the peak in life, which is retirement, and because they're making commissions and overrides, stuff like that. But they don't, then when they reach the peak, they don't realize they have to come down that peak, which is the other third of your life, which is long-term care and aging, because at some point we're going to pass away. And at some point, you're right, 73%. I would guesstimate to say it's 80% chance of everybody needing some form of long-term care. So see, you're lucky you have a son. You have, how many kids you have? You have three kids, right?
3 kids.
How many girls?
2 girls.
Oh, you're lucky, Travis. You have 2 sisters that can take care of mom and dad.
Oh, yes.
4 kids each.
Oh, wow. So it's good. Now, how many?
So I'm waiting for 4 more from Travis, so.
I need to catch up.
Well, that's very true. But Travis, that means Travis has to have girls. Because as you guys know, listening to the radio show, who does most of the care? The girls.
It's the girls.
And so do both your girls live here?
Yes.
Oh, so when you said, are you going to take care of me, they raise their hand saying yes?
Oh, no. They're just like Travis. They said, Dad, you're too hard to take care of. So I know I'm going to be the last generation take care of my parents, and I'll be the first generation that are going to be abandoned by my kids.
Well, hopefully you bought long-term care insurance.
Yes, I do.
See? I'm looking at that right now, and don't quote me on this, but at 56 years old, I'm relatively pretty good health. I don't take any medication, and like I said, don't quote me, but I think my quote was between $1,800 and $2,000 a year for a healthy 56-year-old. So hopefully, I'll get it before I'm 57, which will be next year, early next year. But I tell everybody, So, Travis, you let me know. So when I talk to my peers, my friends, my age, I say, you got to buy long-term care insurance. And what you guys know what the first thing they say, right? It's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
So what
and the traditional long-term care insurance is a use it or lose it proposition.
Right.
Okay.
The traditional one.
Yes, the traditional one.
Right.
Okay. And so they don't want to waste money. And so that's why we take a look at the long-term care growth. Okay, and the changes in long-term care.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you have a lot of insurance with long-term care riders, and some of them are built in.
About life insurance.
Life insurance.
Right.
Okay. And then they also have hybrids.
Right.
Okay. When I say hybrids, we talk about linked benefits with long-term care.
Well, let's back up. So on life insurance, can somebody get a life insurance policy today and not add that rider later on, or do you have to add the rider right away? Do you know?
They have to have that rider there.
Okay.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means they have to pay a slightly higher premium?
They have a surcharge for that rider.
Okay. And that rider, how does that work? Is it a long-term care insurance policy, or is it just be able to pull money out?
It's a life insurance policy with a long-term care rider. Okay. And other plans have built-in long-term care, so it's all built in, so you don't pay that extra. You pay it when you take out that money. Okay. So it's a better guarantee, because if you don't have to use your long-term care, all that money goes to your heirs.
Right.
So you don't have a sense of wasting money.
Yeah, so that's the newest trend nowadays, isn't that so? And so with regard to that, I mean, how's that going? Do people able to handle that premium every month, and are they understanding that?
Well, that's the challenge, okay? Because a lot of them wait until something happens, okay? And most people get thinking about long-term care insurance when a catastrophe happens to their parents, okay? And by that time, it's too late.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And especially if people have stages of dementia, Alzheimer's, then it's too late.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's too late.
But I tell the kids, it's better for you to pay $200 and $300 now than $8,000 later on a month.
Right. It's so true, but people still don't. Hopefully, at some point down the road next year, we'll have a state public awareness campaign for long-term care, because it was supposed to come out this year. I've mentioned it before through the Office on Aging. It hasn't come through fruition yet. They're working on the plan, the website, some commercials that I've seen. They haven't brought it out yet. So hopefully early next year, they'll get all the ducks in order to have that public awareness campaign coming out, because it's so true. They did a survey early this year, and they found that a lot of people thought Medicare would take care of long-term care. But a lot of people don't know what is long-term care. So can you mention the 5 or 6 ADLs that people do, activities of daily living?
Well,
you know those, Travis? Off the top of your head?
Yeah, long-term care basically is when you cannot do 2 of the 6
activities
of daily living.
Which are?
Which are eating, and that's feeding oneself.
Yep.
Toileting.
Yes.
Transferring. Bed chair.
Yep.
Bathing oneself.
Yep.
Continence, and dressing.
Right.
So anytime when you cannot do
and those are just the basic things of life.
Yes.
When you get up in the morning, see Leo, our engineer, going, you're right. Ed, you're a smart guy. Just think of the basics in life, right? No, seriously. People laugh at that. But if you've ever been to a care home, an adult day center, to a hospital, those are basic things, and they're so vital. And people don't realize that, how important that is as we get older. We don't think of it as, 30, 40, 50-year-old people. Mm-hmm. But it is so crucial when you're 80 years old or even 75 years old, or after having a stroke or have Alzheimer's, maybe not almost Alzheimer's, it's really just a memory loss, but it's really important. Yeah. And so if they cannot do 2 of the 6 or 2 of the 5, is that correct? They cannot do those. 2 of those.
Two out of the 6.
Yeah. And so, we did a story. I was talking to somebody early this week at my workshop that, Coach Les Murakami, we did a cover story on him about 3 years ago now, 2012, or it was 2011. I can't remember, so long ago. And, he had long-term care insurance, and he bought lifetime care. So he has care lifetime. But people don't realize that once you go on claim, your monthly premium stops, correct?
Yes.
And people don't realize that is so important to understand. And my parents bought long-term care insurance at the age of 75 and 77. And at that time, they were paying about $500 a month. Now I'm sure it's more because they're 10 years older. But even if it's $700 a month, isn't that better than $7,000 a month, Ed?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And so can you give us some reactions or stories about people that you talked about this, and how are they dealing with the news that, Ed, $120,000, isn't that a lot of money?
Yeah, see, most of them, think that they're going to self-insure.
Self-insure?
Yes.
Okay, so
that means they have accumulated enough wealth.
Okay.
And assets.
But what's
Because
the average stay in a care home, do you know?
Well, most people stay in a care home 2 to 3 years.
Right. Let's say 3 years. 3 years times 120, let's say 100,000. That's $300,000.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
That's right. Because, for an example, let's say you had $1 million, okay, and it's growing at 7% interest, and you
7%? Who's got 7%?
I'm just saying 7% interest.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And you withdrawing, let's say, $70,000 a year. Okay.
Okay.
Your $1 million would last forever. But if you're in a 30% income bracket, okay, that means instead of $70,000, you got to take out $100,000.
Right.
Okay. And your $1 million would run out after 18 years.
Right.
But if you're in a 40% tax bracket, now you need $117,000 to equate to $70,000, and your money would run out after 13 years.
Right.
And we're only talking $70,000 now.
Right. And that's the beauty of long-term care insurance, isn't it?
Yes.
I always tell people you'd rather pay cents on a dollar than dollar for dollar. And that's one thing people can self-insure if they're okay. But then just imagine you could save so much money. A lot of people they look at what's going out, but they don't realize they actually save their hard-earned money in savings and reserves in their portfolio and their stocks and bonds. That's what they don't get.
Yes, because see, most people want to leave a legacy to their kids. See, and by having this kind of protection, you could carry on that legacy.
Well, I was talking to one of my friends, one of the big-time life insurance agents this morning, and we're talking about that. If you want to leave a legacy, buy life insurance. Isn't that so true?
Because everything is tax-free.
Right.
Deferred accumulation, but yet tax-free.
And that's what people don't get. So, Travis, you took care of your grandparents. How was that? Can you share a little experience on how that was and how difficult that was, and was it rewarding, and how did you come out of that?
Well, I still take care of them. I'm still over there, but I'm not there all the time anymore.
Oh, they're still alive?
I'm focused. Yeah, they're still alive.
Okay.
They're 92 years. Both of them turned 92 years old. My grandma just turned 92 this past month.
You got to get Dad over there.
Yeah, he was over there. Yeah.
It means I got good genes.
Yeah,
You
good- good
do?
genes.
Oh, Travis, he's going to be living a long time.
So I have half the good genes. We'll see. We'll see what half came to me. But basically, taking care of my grandparents has been a learning experience. Basically, it's like watching a kid again. Yeah. So as you become older and older, I think you become a kid again.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting. At least they're not angry drunks. You know, they're very angry old people. They're very nice, pleasant to talk to. Yeah, and they listen to what you do. And sometimes they don't take their medications, but you just gotta remind them to take their medications. Remind them to shower every day. Remind them to eat their breakfast and dinner sometimes.
And so do they have Alzheimer's or dementia yet?
My grandma kind of has Alzheimer's. She doesn't know my name. She knows her name now, but it took a little bit of time to get her to know her name. But she doesn't know my name anymore, but she knows who I am. Yeah.
Good. I forget names all the time, so as long as I know who you are.
Yeah. My grandpa is pretty good right now. He can cook his own breakfast and everything like that. Very good.
Well, I'll give you a lot of credit because you have firsthand experience. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you can convey that to your clients a lot because it's very hard, though, isn't it?
Yes.
It can cause a lot of stress, too, right? So I've been talking about this for 13 years that, if your parents don't have a plan, you are the plan. So hopefully, Ed, when you guys do your workshops, Travis can come out and talk about his firsthand experience because it's not going to be easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy at all, I'm sure.
Well, I know because although I'm 67 years old, okay, I'm in denial.
Oh, all baby boomers are.
Because actually I need hearing aids. Okay, but I said, too young for hearing aids. But I know I'm almost on that verge, on that cliff already.
He needs hearing aids.
All my workers, my family, they said,
see, when you're a young boy, all that loud music you're playing when you're a young boy.
I'm not mad. I'm just talking, But
he sounds like he's talking. I mean, he sounds like he's yelling all the time. But he's not. He doesn't mean to. But he's hard of hearing. So
but like I say, he probably listened to all that rock and roll music really loud when he was a kid. And seriously, that's how a lot of older people lose their hearing.
No, mine was, I think, was at the cannery.
Oh, working in a loud room. But anyway, we're here with Ed Motosue and his son Travis Motosue. Owners of Financial Benefits Insurance. We're talking about really the importance of planning for retirement, but also planning for long-term care. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to cover more of their experience and more of their wisdom on how to plan retirement planning. We'll be right back.
Percy from Generations Radio. If you have any questions or want to be part of our discussion, give us a call at 296-5467. That's 296-5467. This is Generations Radio on AM 690 The Answer.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease, and she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now you know.
Moon Physical Therapy is here to help you back to recovery. Moon Physical Therapy is located on Ward Avenue across from Sports Authority. Physician prescribed for motor vehicle accidents, workman's comp, or that body pain that comes from rushing to play without warming up. Also event cardiopulmonary rehabilitation with our one-on-one patient care. Moon's Aquatherapy heated endless pool allows for low-impact exercise with less pain on land. We will give you the right exercises to get you back to health. Ask your doctor to prescribe Moon Physical Therapy. Moon Physical Therapy. We achieve results.
Aloha, this is Martha Clopin.
And Al Harrington. Choosing the right Medicare plan not only saves you money, it also helps you avoid headaches and heartaches down the road.
We want to remind everyone
to listen to a Medicare Moment with Martha, Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we help answer important questions on Medicare so you can stay healthy, wealthy, and wise all year long.
Call me at 543-2073, 543-2073.
I was an addict from the age of 13. I finally decided it was time for a change. I walked into the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center, and that got me ready for the real world. Now, I choose to be guided by Jesus Christ, and today, I'm building a powerful and promising future, free from drugs and alcohol.
Please shop at the Salvation Army family stores. With our discounted sales, your support through your purchase helps men live a clean, sober, and productive life.
Got Vegas on your mind? Get Vacations Hawaii on the line. Vacations Hawaii offers weekly 4 and 5 night Honolulu to Vegas packages, which include 3 meals daily from $6.99. Stay at Hawaii's favorite casinos: California, Fremont, Main Street Station, and Orleans Hotel. Vacations Hawaii will get you there in comfort on deluxe wide-body 767 planes with complimentary in-flight hot meal service. Vacations Hawaii's frequent flyer program gives you future travel discounts and credits. So if you're ready to win big, call Vacations Hawaii at 591-4777 or visit pointVacationsHawaii.com.
Today, more than ever, we local people are living longer than any other state in the Union, with more seniors, baby boomers, and caregivers. Generations Radio promotes the importance to be proactive as we all age. The radio team will focus on issues facing our seniors and their families, finding resources to navigate healthy aging along with financial, legal, and caregiving information. So join Percy E. Howard from 5 until 6 each Saturday, right here on AM 690, The Answer. Focusing on the issues facing our seniors and their families today. Here's our Generations Radio host, Percy Ihara.
So welcome back to Generations Radio. I am Percy, your host, every Saturday and Sunday here on Generations Radio. So this is the first week of June. So by the second week of June, out in the stands, out on our website, you will find our June-July issue. And one of my favorite Hawaiian singers was on the cover, Miss Marlene Tsai. So a little tease there because it's not out yet. But please look out for our website and in the racks around town. We'll be coming out about the second week of June. And Marlene is still working. And, you know, one of the things I found out about when I interviewed Marlene is that she helped start the Kamehameha Schools Alumni Association in the 80s. So kudos to her. But what a great story. She's still working. She is now the program coordinator for the new Nakapuna Makamai Center right across the street from remember the old Comp USA? That old, I think it was a water, what was it? Some kind of a water filtration or water building back in the day, sewage building or something. The concrete building that's all bust up. They're fixing it up. It's very nice. So actually we have a photo of her in front of the building. So look out for that the second week of June with Marlene Tsai and her great story. How, you know, what's interesting is that she was listening to Don Ho. He was bartending at Honey's in Kaneohe, and she sang a song. And not to ruin the story, we got to read the article how he helped her get her career going back in the 60s. So look out for that. We have a lot of great stories and events coming up. Our Aging in Place workshop, which is August 20th. The whole schedule will be in that June-July issue. As well, June 17th, Friday, the Okinawan Center out there in Waipio has their senior fair out there, health fair. It's from, I believe it's from like 9 to 1 o'clock at the Okinawan Center in Waipio. So check out for that. As well as our like we said, our Aging in Place event. There's one more event I did want to mention, that one, and I'm trying to find it right now on the digital copy on my computer here, and I can't find it. But anyway, look out for that workshop, the Okinawan Center. But anyway, so we're here with Travis Motosue and Ed Motosue from Financial Benefits Insurance. Now, guys, so you guys do workshops, and your next workshop is Wednesday.
And then we have another
so wait,
two more.
Wednesday, it's from 6 to 8.
6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
At Ala Hotel, which is great. Easy parking. And you'll be covering
retirement planning,
long-term care, and
you're gonna wills and trusts. We'll also be talking about, we'll have a financial advisor there too.
Great. And so, like I said, guys, if you're listening, I would recommend you go to that. Real quick, we'll give it again later on, but what number should they call for that?
They could call me and at my phone at 722-9790.
And they need to RSVP, right?
Yes.
Good. So your workshop, I know you have partners. You said you have your attorney, Jared McConis. You have Damon, your financial advisor, healthcare worker.
We'll have a healthcare advisor there.
Advisor, right. Okay, good. So we're talking about retirement planning and long-term care. You put in here about living benefits. When you say that, what do you mean by that?
Well, basically, people know life insurance as death benefits. Okay, but when you die, when your heirs would get your death benefits. But now with living benefits, you can use your death benefits when you're still alive. Your insurance benefit is viewed as a pool that can be drawn either for long-term care needs or for death benefits.
Okay. And so do you cover these in the workshop as well?
Yes.
Okay. That's right. So I'm getting back to the list here. When seniors, can you give it real quickly the process when people say, Ed, I'm looking at long-term care insurance. Can you give us a brief explanation of the process to apply?
Okay. Well, first thing we do, we have to do an assessment. Okay, we have to find out exactly what they need and what they want. Okay, actually, where they stand in things, because most people, when they retire, the retirement planning just includes Social Security, then talks about regular investment, your stocks, your mutual funds, and then your retirement plans. They have 401ks. Okay, they have IRAs. Okay, but then it goes just beyond that.
Right, and that's so true, because a lot of people don't do that. Mm-hmm. And I still can't figure out why not. Maybe they're a financial advisor, or maybe they didn't come to you guys because they got a plan. I call it coming down the hill,
yes.
Right? And that's long-term care.
Yes. And a lot of people, they still have a lot of monies in CDs, or monies in the bank. And so we talk about leveraging. They could buy a linked benefits and put a lump sum down there, and you get very liberal ROP. You can return on principal. You can take that money out, or you could use it for a death benefit, and that will be about 1.2 to 3 times more, or maybe up to 6 times for long-term care benefits.
Yeah.
So we call it leveraging.
Yeah. What's really I've seen the last probably 2 or 3 years is that there's a lot of talk about Social Security and the ways to take it out. So how is that coming to play in terms of retirement planning?
Okay, see, when we're talking about Social Security, there's a lot of different combinations. I think there's about 20,000 different combinations.
No.
Unfortunately, people just listen to their friend. Oh, my friend did this.
Right,
So I'm going to do that.
Right.
Okay?
And so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong.
Okay. So when is the best time to take out Social Security? But it all depends if you need the money. Okay. Because with people who start taking at age 62, they receive the monthly benefit. Okay. And it's up to 30% less than they waited until full retirement age.
Right.
Okay. And for those who wait until their normal retirement age, will see their monthly benefits increase 6 to 8% a year until they reach age 70. So just think, when you're working, sometimes you don't even get a 6 to 8% increase a year, but your monies will grow that much a year.
Yeah, people don't realize that, if they can afford to postpone taking Social Security at 62, every year it goes up. Yeah. I mean, people are working longer anyway, because isn't there, aren't you taxed if you take Social Security and make over a certain limit?
Yes.
And that's the thing people don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's really interesting how people are really starting to look closely at this, and hopefully they're planning out more. So I know Medicare is another big topic, and with Medicare, Travis, can you mention some of the plans out there that people are looking at? Because that is, besides Social Security, Medicare is the next big thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, what are some of the programs, and what are different things that the people need to start thinking about?
Okay, so for the Medicare plans and things like that, a lot of times people get the Medicare when they turn 65, or even this, you get Medicare if you've been disabled for 2 years or more. You also get Medicare. So there's many different options out there. There's Medicare Advantage plans, there's Medicare Supplement plans, Medicare Part D prescription drug plans. Some people are state retirees, so those state retirees, they're fine with how they are.
Aren't those different as well?
Yeah, so there's many different people out there. There's VA retirees, federal retirees, TRICARE, people on TRICARE, people still working and they're 65. So there's many different options out there. And so that's our job, is basically to go out there and to counsel and to find out exactly what the situation everyone is in, and then find out what their needs and their goals are, and then make recommendations about their plans and their options.
in fact, at my workshop on Tuesday, somebody asked me that he's military, and he said, "Oh, TRICARE is TRICARE. Are you familiar with TRICARE?"
Yes.
So he said, "I'm a veteran, so I go to Tripler." I said, "That's great if you like Tripler, but." I said, "Don't you have TRICARE?" He goes, "He doesn't use TRICARE, but is there a cost to have TRICARE?"
No, TRICARE you don't pay as long as you work. You should have a certain amount of years in the service. You get TRICARE. The thing with people
automatic,
yes,
premium,
no premium, nothing on that, and even their medications they can get their medications from Tripler at only $8. And so the TRICARE people, they don't realize that they can go outside of VA and still get their still see any provider outside of VA and still not pay anything.
In seniors, it's called TRICARE for life.
Yes.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, he never used it. So I guess he likes Tripler. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody's different, but I wasn't aware it was free.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, in fact, I read an article this morning about how Medicare Advantage programs are something they really look at. And what is the reason why? Is it because premiums are lower or higher, or what's the reason why?
Well, when you talk about Medicare Advantage plans have an advantage over original Medicare. So they have all the benefits of original Medicare, and some have a little bit more.
And so the premiums are
right now you have some plans with zero premiums, some plans with low premiums.
Right.
Okay, so because of that, in Hawaii, we don't sell as much Medicare supplement plans as they do on the mainland.
Why is that?
Okay. In Hawaii, you have seniors not only live the longest, okay, but the medical claims are low. Okay, so
that's if we're
really
healthier.
We're healthier.
But if you're not healthy, you need to get a supplemental plan, right?
No. Well, everybody is different.
Okay.
Everybody is different.
That's why it's so complicated.
All depends. So everybody has different wants and they have different needs.
Right.
And one plan is not good for everybody.
Yeah.
That's where we come in.
Well, because you guys broker all the plans, right?
Well, we are broker sale of those plans.
Yes.
Okay. But I'm still confused. I mean, we've had many professionals, experts on Medicare. So I'm 9 years away. So when I reached that 64 and a half, when I got to start thinking about it, I'm going to call Travis because I know Eddie will be retired by then. Hopefully he'll be retired by then and Travis takes over. But, seniors still need to be disciplined. They need to have good, healthy habits, right? And they need to develop these habits. What are some of those, Travis or Ed?
Well, they have to exercise. Okay, they have to take a look at healthier lifestyles. Okay, and we have a lot of seniors that walk. They go to the gym, and you'll be surprised how many seniors go to the YMCA. How many seniors go to 24-hour fitness? They go to Curves.
Especially in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really important because some of the Medicare plans do allow for free membership, right?
Yes. Some of them have those as benefits.
And so not to put you on the spot, so do you exercise?
No, I have a treadmill at home.
It's not a clothes hanger, is it?
No, I walk my dog every morning, and I jog a little with him.
Okay, well, jogging is not really important, but walking is really, really important. But because I'm a big believer in that, and I still exercise quite a bit. I try to swim 2 to 3 times a week, at least for 20 minutes to half an hour. But another topic I wanted to talk about, we talked about long-term care, blah, blah, blah. But, when I speak around town, people, I say, how many people want to go to a care home? Nobody raises their hand, right? But to stay in a home, that's called private pay, right? Medicaid is great. We talked about Medicaid before, but Medicaid does not allow you to stay in a home, right?
Well, some of the plans do, but basically, when you have Medicaid, you become a ward of the state.
Right.
Okay. And you give up some of your freedoms. Okay. A lot of your freedom. You give up.
Of it.
Okay. And people don't realize that. I had a lady friend that was in a long-term care facility, and I asked her, what she wanted was I was going down to Shirokia to buy her bento.
Oh.
And she said, Ed, get me earplugs.
Earplugs?
And I said, why earplugs? She said, the lady across from me stays up late and watches her Korean dramas.
Oh.
And the other lady snores so loud at night. Get me earplugs. Because you don't have choice.
That's right.
Who are you going to be rooming with? So,
yeah. And I can guarantee they're not going to know that person. That's why I try to tell people is that you go on Medicaid, you don't have a choice. I mean, if they stay in a place and they will private pay and that place takes Medicaid, they can stay there. But that's not guarantee, Not always a guarantee that food's always going to be good. Not a guarantee that the care is going to remain the same quality down the road. And that's one thing families, they need to understand. They need to go check up on their loved ones that are in a care home, in a nursing facility.
Yeah, we find that a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. And it's really sad because when somebody's in a facility, and especially if they're in a room maybe with 4 people, and you got to figure now it's very stressful because they don't know these people. Food is different. Environment is not as warm. So, you take a look at their outlook and what they're thinking. It's terrible.
Well, we already are about 98% full. You can probably find a bed every other month. You might find one room, one bed somewhere. It's not 100% yet, but I can tell you 5 years from now it probably will. But I'm not too sure. What do you folks think about Medicaid? Because I think we have a great Medicaid program. It's just that we don't have enough beds.
Mm-hmm. I think for some people, it's good if they have limited income, limited resources, okay, and limited assets. They have no choice but to go on Medicaid.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's so expensive. I mean, we talked earlier about the cost of care, but seriously, do people really think they can self-fund this?
A lot of them think so. But they don't know how much it's going to cost them.
Yeah. It just, I don't know what people are looking at, but it's so important. And like I said, Medicare does not cover long-term care. What other options do we have to fund long-term care insurance?
Well, people could self-fund. They could get the traditional standalone long-term care insurance. They could pick up insurance with long-term care as a riders. They could take a look at linked benefits, hybrid policies. Also, they can take a look at reverse mortgage. And then, finally, Medicaid.
Finally, Medicaid. That's the last one?
Last, I would say that will be the last.
It really is. I mean, there's a new fiduciary responsibility ruling by the Department of Labor about how, advisors need to start looking at all their assets, and that is their house. Get an equity line to take out money. But isn't it, I still cringe at people paying dollar for dollar. I mean, $12,000 a month, my goodness, Ed, that's a lot of money.
It is. A lot of people don't even make that a month every month.
I can guarantee I'm guaranteed they don't make that every month. So when you're on your workshops, what are some of the primary points you like to cover?
Well, I want people to understand what they're going to go through, okay? Because in retirement, it's totally different, yeah? Because, if you have husband and wife at home and both of them are retired, now they're going to be like following each other. They got to give each other space. The dynamics just change. Okay, and you cannot get too comfortable just being a couch potato.
So true. I found the other workshop I want to mention. July 30th, 9:30 to 1 p.m. We're talking about we have a caregivers workshop at Windward United Church of Christ there across the Aikahi Shopping Center. It's from 9:30 to 1 o'clock. It's our Aging with Grace caregivers workshop. I'll be speaking. We have a financial advisor and somebody from Alzheimer's talking about caregiving. But now, so Ed, you have those dates in July. You're gonna have to do a workshop, right?
Yeah, we have 2 Saturday workshops in July. On July 9th, workshops at 9 o'clock and at 2 o'clock, and a week later on the 16th at 9 o'clock and at 2 o'clock, and both of these will be at Alamona Hotel.
They're all at the Alamona Hotel?
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a great venue. I have my workshops all the time over there. Travis, you're at 35 years old. What would you tell a 35-year-old when they start talking about, Travis, I need to start planning for long-term care, but I need to plan retirement planning. What are some of the unique things? That's kind of new to me because I've been thinking about 50 and 60 and above. What would you, not to throw a little wrench here, but what would you tell a 35-year-old
Well, 35 basically sometimes they may have be married already with kids, may not be. It depends. So basically now's the time to start. It's never too young to start replanning. So basically there's a lot of different plans out there, life insurance plans with the long-term care rider built into it. So the different plans that they can look into. It's never not a time to. You always got to plan early. Basically, these living benefits that they have in it has the long-term care rider built inside, so if they need it later on, they can get it. A lot of times people think life insurance. They don't want to buy life insurance because it's only for their kids. Yeah. Sometimes they think, or
their spouse. Could be for their spouse.
Yeah, their kids or their spouse. So a lot of times, but honestly, deep down inside, sometimes we're selfish. We're selfish. So that's why we don't want to buy life insurance because, hey, why do we want to buy something, put out all our premiums into something that our heirs or our spouse is going to make use of? We're not going to be around.
Right.
Yeah? But the thing is, nowadays, there's life insurance that you can have the living benefits. So you can actually make a loan. You can borrow from life insurance nowadays.
Right.
And you can borrow it tax-free.
Right.
And if you do pass away, your heirs or your spouse and your heirs gets the life insurance tax-free. If you talk to a lot of my affluent clients, they always talk about how to get away from taxes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I hate paying taxes too. Trust me.
So this is a smart way of getting away from taxes because your heirs, you can borrow from that tax free. Your heirs can be able to get that tax free as well.
But as they say, there's only two things we got to worry about that's going to happen to us, guaranteed, right? Taxes and death, right?
Yes.
So, we're talking during a break about Medicare. Since, Travis, you guys got to see this guy. You're a very intelligent, very smart guy. You're Iolani grad, right?
Yes.
So I must have known Iolani, you're smart guys. But let me ask you this. I've always wondered, and maybe you can clarify on a basic explanation. Medicare enrollment period is only from October 15th to December
7.
That's like less than 45 days, right? Was that
46 days? Is it always, not including Sundays? 46
is it always 46
7
days?
weeks, yes.
And so, Travis, why is it so short?
It's so short just basically because a lot of times, what are you going to do? If it's the deadline for Medicare, normally the enrollment time is from October 15th to December the 7th. A lot of times I get calls on December the 7th or December the 6th. Why? It's because we're procrastinators. We're working on Hawaiian time. Yeah, so we're working on Hawaiian time. We want to do things the last minute. Sometimes you get a lot of people maybe in the beginning, but you also get a lot of people calling you at the end. So that's why we only have this short period of time, because if they made it before, it was 3 months.
It was 3 months when it first started,
yes,
right?
When it first started, it was 3 months.
I remember that.
Yes, it went all the way to the end of the year, which was good and bad, because end of the year is New Year's, Christmas, and all of that.
Holidays.
So
right.
I'm working during the busy time. Yeah, but now it ends on December the 7th, so now I can enjoy Christmas and New Year's as well.
What happens if somebody wants to apply and you don't get it in on December 7th, like December 8th? What happens?
December the 8th, sometimes they can give you sometimes they give you a 1 day grace period where they said you got it on the 7th, but you'll turn it on the 8th. You can turn it a 1 day later. That's
24 hours.
Yeah, that's about the leeway I can give them.
But you don't want them to do that, right? No. Just cause you stressful,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Oh, good.
But I do make sure that I'm available on December the 7th, December the 8th as well, the day after, just in case.
Well, we're here with Ed and Travis Motosue from Financial Benefits Insurance. So thank you so much. See, Travis, his first time, you did a great job. You're very knowledgeable. You just got to be able to, when you do the workshops, just let people know what they need to do. They'll trust you when you're so knowledgeable. I mean, Ed's a great talker, but he's not knowledgeable like you guys. So I thank you very much. But any parting words? We're gonna have to wrap this up. Any last words of wisdom or knowledge?
Never get old.
Never get old. Going from a 67-year-old. And then how about you, Travis? What would you tell a client that say, Travis, what should I do?
Well, you should always be educated. You always be educated because look at your many options. Because education is power. As long as you're educated, you can be able to make an informed decision about what plan is good for yourself.
Yeah. So your workshops, I know it's this Saturday, but next one is Wednesday at the Almond Hotel, 6 to 8 o'clock. And again, your phone number again?
722-9790.
Okay. Thank you, Ed and Travis. We're here every Saturday at 5 to 6, Sunday from 3 to 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll have this on our website posted in about 2 or 3 weeks if you want to tune in again. If not, check us out every Saturday or go to our website, generations808.com. So thank you very much. As always, aloha and live well.
Thank you.